In jazz, we often have to play over standards that have a lot of chord changes, and often they're moving pretty fast, and that can be really tough for a beginner. So in this video, I'm going to outline a method to develop the tools to solo over a bunch of chords by just soloing over one chord, because I think for a beginner, it's more useful to get them playing good things over one chord than playing unorganized, kind of messy stuff over a lot of chords. I wish someone had told me this idea when I was in the early stages of learning jazz guitar, because it would have been very useful to sound good on one chord rather than sound kind of noodly over an entire jazz standard. And this is similar to the quote, walk before you run. I think in this case, we would walk if we played really well over one chord, and then we can build up to running over a jazz standard by playing phrases that connect to each other over the course of the song. Okay, let's start by improvising over just a simple C major chord. Nothing fancy about it, just bare bones C major. I think in the beginning, it's helpful to learn. Okay, sorry about that. Where were we? We were at C major scale, so. I think it's helpful in the beginning for a beginner. Practice the scale a lot, see the notes in it, know what the notes are, so you can know what notes work primarily, and also learn this triad position. So this, you can see that this shape is contained within this E major shaped C major chord. And you can get so much mileage out of just this one shape, playing. Just mess around with this shape. Try to make music with just these three notes, and that will, limiting yourself to just playing a couple of notes or three notes will really get you to start to think about rhythm and motifs instead of just noodling around. So definitely get comfortable with that. Get comfortable with this seventh position of the C major scale. Just as a quick aside, this is what a position is. Hope that clears up any confusion about what a position is. Okay, so the next step after you mess around with the triad and the scale position is to just learn a phrase, a good musical phrase that you can go to if you need something to play. And I'm about to play something that I play a lot of the time. It's a Grant Green lick that I got from, I think it's Cool Blues. And it goes like this. 1, 2, 1. A very bluesy line. Well, not very bluesy, but it's a blues line basically. And what this line is doing, essentially, starting on the C, you're going to E flat after that, hammering on from E flat to E. See, it's very bluesy. So C, E flat, hammer on E. After the E, you're hitting a G to A, G to A, then C. And this starts on beat 2, so 1, 2, 1. So it's a pickup into starting whatever you're soloing over. The cool thing about this phrase is that it is a good starting point for the idea, which is call and response. So call and response is basically when you play a phrase, you stop, you think about what you just played, and you respond to it with just a response, So in this case, it's asking for a response in my mind. So, like, a response I could make up is just 1, 2, 1. So, it's just a nice way to create a musical conversation within your solo. And as a beginner, this can make you sound And this phrase is a good example of using space in your solo, allowing your solo to breathe. So let me play back that musical idea and notice how much space there is in the idea. 1, 2, 1. So the space in music is where the music is. I think there's like a Debussy quote about that I'm going to flash up, but it's just space and letting your souls breathe is a really important thing to develop, and I'm still always working on that. If you're always trying to just jam in notes, it's going to sound kind of like you're nervous or panicking, and I think it's even worse if a beginner does that, because then it's going to be nervous plus panicking plus it's not going to sound musical. So overall, definitely leave space in your solos. Okay, let's pivot to another idea that can help you build a kind of beginner phrase that'll sound good over one chord. So I think this would be called like the 1, 2, 3, 1 idea. So we're going to take a C note, we're going to play a D note, then we're going to play E. So this is 1, 2, 3 in the scale. It's C is the first, D is the second, and the E is the third note of the C major scale. So it's a good way to jumpstart a phrase. So say 1, 2, 3, 4. And after that, you can go anywhere you want, but just this is a really good place to start it. So those are just a couple of ideas you can play with that, and you can go up the triad after that. You can go down. There's really so much you can do, but that's just a satisfying phrase, and it's really easy to play for beginner. So over the C major chord, play this 1, 2, 3, 1 pattern, and after that you kind of just mess around and see what you like that sounds good after that 1, 2, 3, 1 idea. So after you get comfortable in the 7th position of the C major scale, just kind of like messing around, seeing what you like, plus the triad, and the 1, 2, 1, 3. I want 1, 2, 3, 1. Once you experiment with those, I think it's valuable to really play stuff all over the guitar neck, my bad. There's just so many different ways to play the same thing. So learn a lot of scale positions, and I'll make a video on that in the future eventually. And I'd say put a metronome on very slowly on 2 and 4, because that's a very good practice to get into. So very slow like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I make a lot of mistakes. I'm a very sloppy player, but mess around. I know I've said the word mess a million times, but really give yourself 30 minutes or an hour to just really lock in this scale shape, the triad, and just improvise. Really, I think it's important in the beginning to try to make ideas by yourself with a simple tool. And once you really get comfortable navigating the scale shape, the triad shape, and whatever, I think then you could move on to multiple chords, like a hard jazz standard. Alrighty, that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed the concepts and the ideas I presented today. I will say there is a free PDF link in the description below that contains 10 C major phrases that are good for a beginner to play. So check that out if you want to. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you like the content, and I hope you have a fantastic day.